Well, I really wanna know, yeah, 'cause there's a place so amazing with all the things I really wanna know, yeah, yeah. I've been driving all night, looking for the right turn to make all the change you make. Just hold on tight and I'll take you to the place to be, Do you know what today is? It's our hidden history. Our hidden history. Do you know what today is? Our hidden history. History. Time running is a maze. All the things you can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, 'cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing, so amazing. I flip the page, I see you written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm hawking it, that if you were the day, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah, 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 yeah. Follow me, yeah, to the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, follow me, yeah, yeah, to the Saturday. Then we go and keep it holy, we make it to the next day. Do you know what today is? It's our hidden history. You can learn in short space, but the time's still running, don't let it waste. Yeah, you can learn with me, 'cause when I'm reading, oh, it's so amazing, so amazing. I flip the page, I see you written down again and again. I'm humble and I'm hawking it, that if you
Shalom, 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 Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Most High in Christ bless. How's everybody doing today? So we got another episode today of what? Our Hidden History. Hidden History. Radio show.
That's it.
Here we go.
Yeah. We back in mode.
So we get into it. All right, so today we're going to touch base on, like I said, we're going to do a brief recap, picking up where we last left off from with cultural appropriation in the beginning of it, starting in the book of Genesis, and Esau taking over as well as succeeding the Horites, as you can see, and later on being called Mount Seir. So now there's a major controversy. We touched on the article last week. We're going to recap and retouch the article this week on Kevin Hart, because I find it funny, like I said, anytime a black man that tries to speak any type of truth, any scholarship, it's a problem. You see the cancel culture come in like vultures, showing you that anytime you speak truth, you know that you're doing something right based upon the response of the counterparts. So now, let's go. Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart criticized for allegedly saying Egyptians were black.
So Kevin Hart obviously wouldn't make that statement without any evidence. So we saw the clip last week with Richard Pryor. And then what did they do after he said, yo, look at the records. It says in the beginning, this is the book of life. What did Esau do? They took the rock, they rolled it, they closed it so that nobody will find out the truth.
Right.
The truth always been in front of us. The problem is, for centuries, they indoctrinated us, they kept us from reading, they miseducated us, and like they kept us from the records, and they wrote their books to each other, and they communicated the information that we don't know, that they research. How do they know? Because they have archaeologists, they have scholars, they pay people, they have think tanks to find out and search out this information. How do I know that? Let's go to Psalm 64 real quick.
And Cap, that's why we always call it white eyes only books. Because we wasn't allowed to read or write at the during slavery when a lot of these books came out.
Exactly.
Psalm 64.
Yep.
Verse 1.
Nope. Start of verse 6.
Psalms chapter 64, verse 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search.
So they have the finances, they have the institutions to train up people to search out iniquities. That's why America is a conglomerate of all ancient civilizations packed together in one package called United States of all countries, all nations, all religions, all worship and idols of different gods. So read that again.
They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search.
They search out iniquities. They went all the way back to ancient Babylon. They went back to ancient Egypt, Assyria. They adopt their policies, their customs. Go on.
Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
So they search out iniquities. They do a diligent search. That's your archaeologists, your scholars. They go in these books. They go to these different fields, and they travel to Egypt. They go to the tombs. You have one person, prominent individual named Francois La Champollion, was hired in order to translate the Rosetta Stone. And from there, they was able to decipher all the ancient Egyptian artifacts and the wall paintings, and as well as the writings on a wall. So they do a diligent search. They take their time in searching out iniquity to keep us in darkness. So now, let's go back to the article.
Kevin Hart criticized for allegedly saying Egyptians were black. Critics launch online movement to shut down his upcoming show in Cairo.
So they went as far to say, because you made a statement. Now, Kevin Hart didn't harm anybody. Kevin Hart didn't threaten anybody. Kevin Hart was speaking his truth based upon the information and research he did and what he came across. Go on.
Kevin Hart may have found himself in the crosshairs of cancel culture again. The comedy box office star is currently globetrotting on his reality check comedy tour. On December 9th, he announced that he will be bringing the show to Cairo, Egypt. The performance is scheduled to take place at the Cairo Indoor Stadium on February 21st. It will mark the comedian's first time doing stand-up in the ancient city known as the home of the pyramids of Giza. While Hart is finishing up the North American leg of the junket, he is already being slammed by fans in Africa for an alleged joke.
Wait, can we read that part? He's being slammed by fans where?
In Africa.
And where?
Africa.
Wait a minute. In Africa? So I thought Africa was a black continent.
The hell is this?
Can we get real quick? You know what? No, keep going. Keep going.
For an alleged joke. According to the Middle East Eye, the entertainment mogul, is accused of saying that the ancient Egyptians were black.
So Kevin Hart is accused of saying that the ancient Egyptians were black. Can you give me 2nd Ezra chapter 14 real quick? 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 18. And this is the problem with today's society. America, as well as all the other nations that is in conspire or that's in a same conspiracy, all have the same agenda. Keep the truth and knowledge for the Israelites. To go as far as don't tell them that they themselves are black, the Jews are black, but go as far to erase the history of all other nations.
Cap, and the white people over there don't even get slammed. They don't even slam the white man for bringing a white Jesus over there.
Exactly. Crazy, right?
Damn.
Where everybody know Christ is black.
Right.
The hell is this?
2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 18. For the truth is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand.
So the truth of the Bible, the truth of world history, because we are talking about world history, you can find these things documented in books, many different scholarly books. They come after us based upon records that we found that their scholars wrote. We didn't write any of these books, a lot of these books, or
Right.
more so the minor books that we coming up with, like you have Babylon to Timbuktu, or you have Nature knows no color lines, or Sex and Races. Yeah, those are black scholars that did the research based upon these white archaeologists going into ancient Egypt with these civilizations, going into Russia, going into Romania, going into the castles of Europe. And you also have, what's his name, that did the books? Oh, Henry Louis Gates. So Henry Louis Gates, he's a modern day scholar that's finding a lot of these records, but not even him could go deep in depth into the records to find out. Wait a minute, these people on the wall mosaics, these are Israelites. These people are the same people that's relegated to a position of servitude and slavery in America. So the books and records that we pull up, that we reference, is white eyes only, meaning it was constructed by white people and written by white scholars based upon their research. They did the work. They went and traveled, and they documented it. And in the books, a lot of the books that you buy, it says to Charles,
Right.
to Billy Thornton, to Billy Graham, whatever the name is.
Right. They was written as gifts to each other.
Right? Exactly. And you know why they sent it to each other? So that they can properly educate their children, the next generation, so the children know how to deal with us, how to deal with the information, and to know what they know. Read it again.
For the truth is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand. For now hasteth the vision to come, which thou hast seen.
Get me Isaiah now, 29, verse 21. So the nations, the Arabs, I'll say it again, the Arabs living in the land of Egypt, a black continent, is angry based upon Kevin Hart's statement saying that the ancient Egyptians are black, were Africans. Isaiah 29, verse 21.
Isaiah chapter 29, verse 21. That make a man an offender for a word.
What did they do?
That make a man an offender for a word.
They make a man such as Kevin Hart. They make us as well. You have Wiley. You have Deshaun Jackson. You had
Nick Cannon.
You have Ice Cube. They make a man as well as us. They're putting laws in place to deem it anti-Semitic or hate speech for us even claiming some type of racial identity claims to the Bible. When we could go into the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 to 68, to show, based upon the curses that came upon the Israelites, documented in the Bible, that fits our history. Name one race that went to slavery with ships. That was put shackles and chains upon their neck, whose women were raped. That was forced to take on other gods, whose history was taken from them. No other nation, no race, no ethnic group, no people on this earth you could find that fits these curses but us. But they say, oh, that's not the Bible. No, that's not the wrong words. You got to get the NIV version. Oh, no, this happened in Egypt. But you have people that spending money. You have people going all the way out their way for people that street fixers a man that they deem to be nobodies. to be irrelevant. Right. They're a cult. If we're a cult, why put so much attention into us? Why invest so much money into us? Why develop a task force based upon us? Why have meetings based upon us? Because you know it's the truth, and the truth is coming out.
That's right.
Now, read it again.
That make a man an offender for a word.
That maketh a man an offender for a word. So just based upon us saying that the Israelites are black, they deem it anti-Semitic or hate speech. For Kevin Hart saying the very simple fact that the ancient Egyptians were African, are Africans. They're threatening to cancel his show in Cairo, Egypt. Now, if I was him, I said, the hell with this show. I got enough money as well as investments, and I don't need to joke. Because the black man has a voice only to entertain.
Right, that's it.
Give me Psalm chapter 137.
That's all we good for, Cap.
Don't speak truth. Don't speak knowledge.
And Cap, real quick, it's imprisonment because we're stuck. Our identity is stuck in a television screen. So you in a box. The only time you get light is when you in that box. Outside of that box, you cannot speak your mind. So it's still a trap. You're still in prison even though you think you have a voice.
Exactly. Yep, 100%. Read that in Psalm chapter 137.
Verse.
Psalms, 137, verse 3.
Psalms chapter 137, verse 3. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song.
Those people that rule and have dominion over us, that carry us away captive into Babylon the Great, require of us a song, meaning entertain us, make us laugh. Sing, my nigga, sing a good tune. Sing that good old tune of Jerusalem. How can we? Make us laugh. Shut up and play basketball. Shut up and dribble.
The hell is this?
Shut up and tell jokes. Shut up and sing. Don't get yourself involved in any political matters. Don't get yourself involved in any ancient architect or going back into the ancient records showing truth of the Egyptians being black or the ancient Israelites being black. Don't tell us that thing. Do what we pay you to do. We paid you hundreds of millions of dollars to shut your big black dusty mouth and sing, nigga, and make me laugh. That's all you're good for. Entertain me, niggas. They did that all throughout ancient civilization. You're going to see as we go on. They did it in Rome. They did it in Greece, right. The Colosseums, the Olympics. We're nothing but entertainers. Look at him. Look at his big calves. Look at that. His big nose. He has the ability to bring in more air and breathe the oxygen to his lungs so he can run faster. Look at him. Look at his body structure. He's able to do things. So let's use that for athletes. Let's use his lungs or her lungs to sing, to entertain us. That's what they look at you for. Entertainment. Go on.
And they that wasted us required of us mirth.
And they that wasted us required of us mirth, meaning jokingly, happiness. They want us to entertain them. Now let's go back to the article.
While Hart is finishing up the North American leg of the junket, he is already being slammed by fans in Africa for an alleged joke. According to the Middle East Eye, the entertainment mogul is accused of saying that ancient Egyptians were black. As a result, many have called for his upcoming show in Cairo to be canceled and have expressed disdain for the actor through hashtags such as Kevin Hart is not welcome in Egypt and cancel Kevin Hart's show.
You're not welcome in Egypt. Who told you to come in Egypt? Who? Did you vote? Did you ask? Did you send a letter asking for permission to come into the land? Matter of fact, who told you to come into Libya? Let's go further. Who told the people, the Europeans, to come into South Africa? Nobody wants you there. That's not your land. That's why the Bible says you should be a fugitive and a vagabond upon this earth. Let's go further. Who told you to go into Jerusalem? Who told you to go into America? Let's go even deeper. Why do you even exist? What is your purpose but to bring chaos and confusion, death and destruction?
Damn.
Go on.
Debates about Egyptians not having the Eurocentric roots has been an ongoing debate. Dr. Cheek Anta Diop, a Senegalese scholar, refuted efforts to continue whitewashing Egypt's melanated history in the 1980s by pointing out that mummified remains prove their hair, features, the amount of melanin found in skin samples, and other factors all prove that they were genetically black.
They were genetically black. This based upon not only archaeological evidence, but as well as scientific evidence and proof. We could provide the facts. We could provide the proof. All they gotta say is the ancient. Officer Haim, you said something earlier. Our reality and our truth resides within a box.
Exactly.
It's whatever the vision that they tell is the truth the only truth that we're allowed to accept. They tell us what to accept as truth and what not to accept.
Absolutely.
Anything that's in a book, don't accept that for truth. That book, that truth is only for white eyes. The truth that we are allowing you, I'll say, the truth that we're allowing you to accept is the truth that's in that little box, that television. The only vision that we want you to know is the vision that we tell you.
Yep.
History. The only history we want you to know is my story. Right. It's his story and not our history. But today's show is our hidden history. Hidden history. Right. Radio show. That's our history.
That's right.
So we're going to tell you truth through our eyes and the eyes of the Bible. Now.
And Cap, our people should be able to open their eyes by now. This is the age of information, right? You got to see that Esau, what they're doing, even with the 1619 project, they're trying to take all any history of us coming over here on slave ships, any history of our slavery, when it started, all of that. They're trying to erase that stuff out of the school system. We can't say it enough. So the only history you're going to get is from us, your own people. We're going to bring that history to you because they don't even want you to know that the Egyptians was black. That's how far they'll take this thing. When there's numerous of artifacts that Cap is going to bring out, there's numerous of artifacts to prove that the Egyptians are black. That's why I say, what did Kevin Hart say wrong? It's on the monuments. It's there. So that's all I got.
And the sisters did scientific studies as well as archaeological studies, and based upon the mummies, it shows that these have Negro, I'll say not Negro, or Nilotic phenotypes. So now, can you get me the Bible Atlas? So we're talking about Africa, which is known as a black country. Ham. If you can zoom in just a little bit more. When Noah had 3 sons, after the flood, you had Noah as well as his 3 sons. After Noah and his 3 sons resided and landed on land, the sons was divided and took different regions in part. Can you give me that in Deuteronomy chapter 32?
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
After Noah and his 3 sons survived the flood, he divided the people and he sets the bounds according to the number of Israel. So everybody was given their inheritance, their land inheritance. So you have Ham was given the country Africa. Shem was given, now notice now, if you go and zoom in real quick, Africa. So Ham was given Africa. He said Mizraim. Mizraim is today known as ancient Egypt or Egypt today. You have Pathros as well as Mizraim, was the father of the so-called Egyptians. You have Cush, the father of the Ethiopians. Now, if you go over from Mount Sinai to Canaan, to the land of Canaan. Yep, so Canaan was a part of the land of Africa, or the land of Ham. I'll say it again. Canaan was a part of the land of Ham. So later on in the 1900s, early 1900s, you have a naval commander renamed it the land or the Middle East, Israel, the Middle East, to be a part of that, or just the Middle East in general. And they divided Canaan or the land of Israel by the Suez Canal in the late 1800s. So they divided the land and they put Israel with all the Arabian lands, or the Middle East lands, countries. Now go to Shem. So Canaan, which is known as Israel today, as well as Africa, was given to Ham. You have Shem was given the so-called Middle East or the Asiatic countries. And then you have Japheth. Now, a lot of people believe that Esau today are the Japhethites based upon the Germans as well as the Russians living in Japhetic territories. Not understanding, and like I said, we're going to retouch that. If a lot of you seen the previous episodes, you're going to see that the ancient, the Greeks as well as the Romans took over Japhetic territories. Now, let's get the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary.
Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races.
So it says Ham, not only does Ham live in a black continent, but he also became the progenitor, the father of the dark races. Now, can we go to Genesis 2, verse 7 real quick to show you?
Bring it out.
He's just not only the father of the dark races. Everybody was black at the beginning. Esau was the so-called first redskin or so-called white man on this earth today. Read that.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground.
So God formed man of the dust of the ground. What color is the dust of the ground? Black. The deeper you go, the darker it gets. So everybody was black until Esau came up in Genesis chapter 25. He was the only red-skinned individual on this earth. Now, let's go back.
He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negro.
Not the what?
Not the Negroes.
So Ham became the father of all Nilotic or African races, but not the Negroes. So scholars know something that you don't know. What do they know that you don't know? That the Negroes are not descendants of Nilotic tribes or Hamitic. The Negroes are descendants from Shemitic people, or Shem. That's why when we say that, we can't be anti-Semitic or Shemitic, because we are Shemitic. We are descendants from Shem, going by, pass it down through Eber, through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and which makes up the 12 tribes of Israel. So we know who we are. And that's what, what's the name said? The basketball player.
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving, thank you. All right? Now, get me Psalms chapter 106. Psalms 105, verse 23.
Psalms chapter 105, verse 23. Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham.
And Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. Not the land of the Arabs, not the land of anybody else but Ham, Africans. Now, let's go back to the article.
Put the article up. Come on.
Oh, no. It started.
Let's go back to the article. Yep. Let's pick up.
Kevin Hart is not welcome in Egypt. No. A single scholar refuted efforts to continue whitewashing Egypt's melanated history in the 1980s by pointing out that mummified remains prove their hair, features, the amount of melanin found in skin samples, and other factors all prove that they were genetically black. Reactions to Hart's alleged comparison and Egypt's debated genealogy have been split. Kevin Hart is not welcome in Egypt. You aren't welcome to Egypt.
Wow. So Kevin Hart is not welcome in Egypt, they said. Like I said before, you're not welcome to Egypt. You were given the Arab countries in the so-called Middle East. That was your blessing, Ishmael.
So go back there.
Yeah, go back there. You were given that. God bless you with those regions. God gave you your dwelling place. He divided the nations and gave it to according to the bounds of the children of Israel. Go on.
Egyptians aren't Africans. We're the real builders.
Wait.
Oh, snap.
Wait, snap. Yo, they said, I'm telling you, man, they said the Egyptians are not what?
The Egyptians aren't Africans. We're the real builders of the civilization.
So we just read Ham became the progenitor. Now, can you go back to the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary?
Cap, those fighting words. Cap.
Those are fighting words.
Fighting words.
And that's why anytime they pull up, we pull up too. We are the defenders of truth.
That's right.
So where it says, not the Negroes, Ham, read it again.
Said he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes, but who?
But the Egyptians.
But the what?
Egyptians.
But I thought the Egyptians are not Africans. It says Ham, Egyptians, your white scholars, once again, told you that the Egyptians are Africans. Go on.
Ethiopians.
Ethiopians are Hamitic or Nilotic descent. Go on.
Libyans.
The Libyans, go on. Because the Libyans today are Arabs. The ones that had Africans in slavery today, go on.
And Canaanites.
And Canaanites. So now, we can go back to the article. Go on.
Go back. All y'all got to do is pick up a book and read.
That's it.
That's it.
Simple as that.
You aren't welcome to Egypt. Egyptians aren't Africans. We're the real builders of the civilization, no one else. The Afrocentric is just a lie.
Wow. That's why we read the scripture earlier. Leasing is hard at hand. Meaning lying is hard at hand. Go on.
They're liars. Egypt is our land, not the Africans.
The boldness of these people.
Wow.
So they're lying. So history is a lie. Now go on. Now go down.
And also, for the Afrocentric people, right there, it says it's a lie. There's no such thing.
Exactly.
With no proof.
Huh?
We have all the proof.
Right.
We're showing them, but they just say it's a lie, and we're supposed to believe it.
Exactly.
But you know what? Because and they think they could just do that. They could just put it out social media because our people minds is based off of social media. So our people
That
go
box.
off of this, man.
they got TikTok brains.
Fast food brains.
Go on.
Egypt, this is King of Little Crown. Egypt is Black Africa. Egypt is an African country, not an Arab country. The original Egyptians are black, and finally, Egyptians are black. Kevin Hart is right.
Okay. Is there anything else on that? No, go down. So people actually, so people are promoting and showing evidence, facts.
Okay, so it says, neither Hart, 43, nor his team have publicly addressed the matter at the time.
That's it. That's all we need. That's all we need. So now, let's get into it. So we got a lot of nice, healthy, scholarly books for you guys today to go deep and dive into the topic. Not only we're going to hit the ancient Egyptians and prove without any refutable evidence, but we're going to show you irrefutable evidence that the Egyptians, as well as the Israelites, the Jews, are black. Now, let's go to Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. So that was just a brief recap. Exodus 1, verse 1.
Exodus chapter 1, verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin. Dan and Naphtali, Gad and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls. For Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them.
So this is the great migration during the time period of the famine, when Joseph, like I said, was the viceroy or second in command, the governor of ancient Egypt. So those of you that are tuning in today, go back to our last week's episode when we recap, we touch Abraham going to ancient Egypt as a place of refuge from the famine. So that's always been common to go to Egypt because and seek some type of refuge and help. As well as Joseph was brought into Egypt by his brothers, put him into slavery. And then Joseph rises up in power as a second in command and a viceroy of Egypt. So this is the great migration when Israel went into the land of Goshen, which is Lower Egypt. Now, can we go back to the picture to show in the book? Those of you that don't have it, like I said, we touched on it briefly last week. Now, this book is called The Unknown Catacomb. Those of you that don't have it, The Unknown Catacomb, and it's the La Latina Catacombs. These are underground cities or burial tombs that we built, as well as during the time of, like I said, of our persecution, we hid in these places. And we documented a lot of our ancient art so that the future generations will be able to go back into the history and say, wait a minute, this is the connection and ties that we have with the people that we read it.
Right.
We are these people. So now, can we get nope, I want the one when Jacob is going into Egypt with his sons, 70. All right, let's get that. No, that right there. Let's enlarge that. So this is the history.
Look at that, man.
Look at that. So now, I want you to look at that. Let's zoom in more. So why is this? Now, this is supposed to be based upon the patriarchs coming into the land of Egypt with the 70 children.
Right.
So now you have Jacob right there, right, leading the band. You have Jacob. We zoom in even a little bit further, a little bit closer.
Blow it up.
Look at that. Negroid features, Negroid hair, woolly hair, Afro hair. Look at that. Black.
Black.
Blackity black, y'all. Now go down. Go to the next one. Look at that. So these are his sons, the patriarchs. Negroid features, black hair. Go to the right. Look, come on. You can't argue this. You can't argue this. Now, like I said, we'll take our time and go into the records to prove our point.
Right.
Whether you accept it or not, you rather believe in lies or truth, that's on you. Now, let's go to the right to see what is this describing. The La Latina catacombs.
That's the top. All right. Hands extended forward. I believe this to be Joseph talking with his brothers.
So that's not the one. Let's go down to the inner. No. That's it. That's it. Go the inner.
Oh, okay. The second paragraph.
The
Yes,
second
sir.
paragraph.
And in the intersection B of the Causoleum and the Lunet is Jacob bringing the children of Israel into Egypt.
So that's your white scholars, white eyes only. Jacob bringing the children of Israel into Egypt. What color are they? Black. Go on.
Genesis chapter 46, verses 5 to 27. In a panel, figure 59, 3.5 by 66 inches, 80 by 168. 3 two-headed carts are drawn by oxen. The drivers hold sticks in their right hands. In the middle cart, the patriarch Jacob stands between two sons, holding the reins in his left hand and indicating with his right that he is speaking. The 7 individuals on the 3 carts symbolize the 70 who entered Egypt in the same way as below. The 3 foxes stand for the 300 below. The 3 foxes stand for the 300 that Simeon sent into the standing corn of the Philistines. The standing corn of Samson, that Samson sent into the standing corn of the Philistines. To the right is walled Egyptian city with a gateway.
So that's all I wanted. Showing you that this is an exact depiction in what we're reading right now about the band going into ancient Egypt with the 70. Jacob, his 12 sons, as well as the 70 that came into Egypt and the land of Goshen with him. Now, let's go to Exodus chapter 1, verse 8.
Exodus chapter 1, verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
So, now, the new kingdom, give me the next book. Give me the next book. Ancient Egypt by George Robbins Glyden. So, Ancient Egypt by George Robbins Glyden. So now, the new king that rose up in Egypt after, read it again.
Now there rose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
So the new king that rose up over Egypt that didn't know Joseph was the new kingdom, or what you know today as the ancient or the new dynasty, the 18th dynasty. That's the new king that rose up over Egypt that did not know Joseph. Now, you have prior to Joseph or the Theban kings. You can go up a little bit, go up. Yep, bring it up so people can see. So prior to the 18th dynasty, so the people can see it? So prior to the 18th dynasty, you have what is called the Theban kings that ruled over Upper Egypt. So the people, or you have the new kingdom, the Nilotes, that ruled Upper Egypt. They're the ones that took complete control over Lower Egypt as well. Now you have above Lower Egypt was ruled by what is called the Shepherd Kings, or what you know as the Hyksos. They said it before in Genesis when it says, get me that real quick. What is that in Genesis 49 to the shepherds? I don't have that in my notes.
Wait, Joseph was telling them.
The Egyptians don't sit down.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody find that for me. And let's I'm gonna go on. So you have the Hyksos, which were called the shepherd kings. People, some scholars, like I said, we're not gonna go too in depth with it because the history is all over the place. 49:24. 49:24. Read that.
Genesis chapter 49, verse 24. But his bow abode in strength. Genesis 49.
No. That's not it. That's not it.
49, I said?
Yeah.
49. 49.
It's 39.
No.
All right, you guys don't have it. Come on.
Nice.
All right, don't worry about it. All right, it says the shepherd, for they were shepherd kings. They were shepherds. So find that. All right, so the Hyksos, some scholars say that they were of Asiatic descent, or some say that they were Semitic. You got it?
Yes.
Got it? All right.
Genesis chapter 46, verse 33. And it shall come to pass, when Pharaoh shall call you, and shall say, what is your occupation? That ye shall say, thy servant's trade hath been about cattle from our youth even unto now, both we and also our fathers.
Go on.
That ye may dwell in the land of Goshen, for every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians.
So every shepherd was an abomination unto the Egyptians based upon the quarrel or the internal conflict that Egypt, the shepherds or the Hyksos, had with the Theban kings, or those are Nilotic Hamitic descent. So now you have the 6 shepherd kings or the Hyksos kings. They say those Shemitic. Some people say those Canaanite descent.
Right.
So a lot of scholarly articles point towards they were Semitic. So I'm not going to go too far in this. It's too much conflicting information. So and it's a headache. So we're not dealing with that. And then you have the 6 Theban kings. So I think it was under Atmos that he was able to fully control or overthrow them. Now let's go to the 18th dynasty of the 17 Theban kings.
The 18th dynasty of 17 Theban kings occupied the pharaohsonic throne during the most brilliant and important period of Egyptian history. The reestablishment of supreme power on the expulsion of the Hyksos, the erection of the most magnificent edifices, the conquest in Africa far into Negricia and Asia Minor to Chalcis on the Euxine, and through center Asia into Hindustan, with the sojourn and exodus of the Israelites, came combined to render this a portion of the page of Nilotic history being with interest.
That's it. That's all I wanted. So show you that the Theban kings, the 17 Theban kings, came in rulership, or the 18th dynasty, after conquering and expelling the shepherd kings known as the Hyksos. Now, let's go to 18th dynasty of Egypt, Wikipedia.
Read. 18th dynasty of Egypt. The 18th dynasty of Egypt, notated dynasty 18. Alternatively, 18th dynasty or dynasty 18 is classified as the first dynasty of the new kingdom of Egypt. Mm-hmm. The era in which ancient Egypt achieved the peak of its power.
Mm-hmm. Now, go down. Notice how every major rulership obtains its peak of power once they have the Israelites in subjection. That's why you have, Laban. Why do you think he didn't want to let Jacob go? Because he was being blessed. Anywhere where the Israelites go, the empire is erected. Anytime we leave that empire, we leave that country, what happens? It diminishes, it crumbles, and it falls. Because any soil that we touch, we bless it without reaping the same benefits.
Right. Same thing for today, Cap.
Yeah, exactly. Like America. America's able, and that's why they said they didn't want to let their prisoners go.
Right.
Why don't they want to let us go? Because we bless them. And now when we get delivered, guess what happens? It crumbles and falls. We're like Miracle Grow. Everything we touch, it just grows. It flourishes. Now, go down. Let's go to these different kings. Go down.
So
go down a little bit further. Faster. faster. Actually, go to some of the pictures. I want to show you something before we go to go up. And this is just Wikipedia. Go up. Can you zoom in some of these pictures? Now, I didn't have this, but zoom in. Yeah, just zoom in on the screen.
You can just click on them. And they'll pop, yeah.
Damn.
Look, these are black people. What? And this is on the World Wide Web on Wikipedia. Go to the next image. Black people. Where's the Arabs? Where's the Caucasians? Go to the next image. Go on.
Hey, Cap, somebody in the comments, they say, I don't see the Egyptians wearing turbans.
Exactly. Look how black they are. And guess what? We didn't get into our information yet. Once we get into it, you're not going to be able to argue it. Black. Very black. Blue black. All right, now let's go down. Let's go into, yeah. You saying something?
Off the what?
Is it Manny Black?
Oh,
shoot.
That's why they beat.
Let's go down.
Go down to the list of kings.
Make sure you like and share the class. Share the class.
All right. Pharaoh. So we have Atmos the first.
So these are your, what is called your slave masters, because you have a lot of black people glorify ancient Egypt. They say, oh, Queen Nefertiti, Queen Hatshepsut was the first feminist, or she was the first woman queen. They'll glorify an ancient civilization that had their ancestors captives as slaves. We glorify any civilization that had our people and subjugated us under slavery, just like we glorify America. It's nothing other than what is called Stockholm Syndrome. We always had an affinity with our enemies. So you have the first king over Egypt, Atmos, which was the one to expose the Hyksos, or the shepherd kings out of ancient Egypt. Go on.
Amenhotep the first. Mm-hmm. You got Thutmose the first. Thutmose the second. Mm-hmm. Hatshepsut. Whatever.
Hatshepsut. Go on.
he got shit in his foot.
Thutmose the third.
Thutmose the third. So these are all your slave masters. These will be considered your George Washingtons.
Right.
Your Theodore Roosevelt.
Thomas Jefferson.
Your Thomas Jefferson. It's no different. So when we're going over ancient Egyptian pharaonic history, we're going over the presidents of the United States. It's the same parallel. It's the same reflected history.
Spiritual Egypt.
We're reading your presidents. That's what we're reading. Just like we read your George Washingtons, your Thomas Jeffersons, your Theodore Roosevelts.
Andrew Jackson.
Your Andrew Jacksons. That's what your Bill Clintons.
Joe Biden.
Your Joe Bidens. We're going over your pharaohs. These are your pharaohs today. Go on.
Amenhotep the third. You got Thutmose the fourth. Amenhotep the third. No, that's the third again. Amenhotep the fourth. And you have Sminkacare. I'm gonna call this one Nephi. That's Nephi. King Tut. That's King Tut.
So okay, go on. King Tut. Everybody's familiar with King Tut.
That's
go
on. Horemheb.
So now let's go to the 18th dynasty family tree. So notice how it says the 18th dynasty family tree. Yeah, most of your pharaohs, that's why you have Atmos the first, Atmos the second, Atmos the third, Tutnakin the first, Tutnakin the second, the third. You notice how you have different lineages or pharaohs within that line ruling. There was an Edomite girl years ago that went into the talk show that was able to prove and show the genetic lineage of all the U.S. presidents to show that they were related to each other one way or the other.
So like King George or something.
Yeah, see if you can find that real quick. It was a YouTube video of the Edomite girls showing that every single one was interconnected. From Obama, they're showing that one of his cousins was interconnected with. So all of them keep it within the family line, even when you go back into the Medici families that ruled over Rome in the 14th dynasty or so. All the popes, I'll say it again, all of the popes, the Medici family, they were all family. All the cardinals, the popes, all of them were ruled within the same family. Esau believes in intermarriage, intermarry within each other, or what it's called. What do they call that again?
Incest.
Incest. Thank you.
They keep it in the family.
They keep it in the family, just like you have your Rothschilds, your Rockefellers, and all of them. Rothschilds and them, they marry their cousins. They keep it in the family. That's always been a common practice of the elites to marry within the families.
Hey, that's why the Most High, when he gave us the laws, he said, do not after the customs of these nations,
Exactly.
the Egyptians, because that's why he gave us the law on fornication, because they were prominent in incest and doing these things, all right? Okay. Homosexuality and all that.
Oh, you found a video?
Made that the article.
Oh, about what? Oh, about that?
Yeah, about the presidents.
Okay. You got it?
Made that. I sent you the article.
Okay, yeah. If you don't have it, off the top, go back.
Let us know
until
if you have
know
it.
Okay, can we read that real quick?
Yeah.
Leviticus 19.
Yep.
I mean 18.
Yep, go ahead.
Start at 10.
I get it.
Verse 9.
The
And
book.
and that's the reason why the Most High said that, and that's where they get that from. Remember, Esau is heavy into studying Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
they took all their customs.
Yep, exactly.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein you dwell, shall ye not do, and after the doings of the land of Canaan.
Right. So that's what the Egyptian was doing. So the Lord says, you coming out of that, those dynasties, don't follow and don't do the same thing that they did.
Mm-hmm.
Jump to verse 9.
Verse 9. The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father,
See that? Yep, go ahead.
or daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad. Even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover.
Right, you're not supposed to sleep with them. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10. The nakedness of thy son's daughter, or of thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. For theirs is thine own nakedness.
Yeah, that's your family line. Go ahead.
The nakedness of thy father's wife, daughter, begotten of thy father, she is thy sister. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness.
So this was an incest, sleeping with each other. So that's what the Egyptian was doing. And that's the same thing, like you said, the elites. That's what they're doing today. Keeping
Yep.
the family.
Right.
Yeah, Caesar Borgia did the same thing, having sex with Lucretia Borgia.
Right.
The hell is this?
Incest, common practice.
And Cap, and even during the Roman Empire, you had Nero married his mom.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Hey, what about
Herod. He
Herod?
married.
That's one. What's he do about the Christmas tree? Nimrod.
Nimrod.
Oh, yeah, he married his mom. I'm telling you. There's a filth going on in these other nations. You got the video? Play it.
Her conclusion that all the presidents, with the exception of one, share the same grandfather.
Well, first we start off with George Washington at the top, and then it goes to John Adams, Thomas Jefferson.
11-year-old Bridget Dovigneau says she's made a first-of-its-kind discovery that President Obama and all the presidents before him, with the exception of one, are related and descendants of a former king of England.
No, they are all cousins,
I
and
see.
they're grandsons of John Lackland.
Dovigneau says she spent countless hours on the internet over the summer researching the lineage of our presidents, a project that started with her trying to trace her own family tree.
But I'm the first historian to do all the presidents. I'm very glad I got this done, and I think it will turn out to be a success.
The Monte Vista Christian 7th grader has written President Obama to tell him the presidents before him are his cousins. She hopes to present this family tree chart personally to the president. But Bridget has her skeptics, including this reporter. Her biggest supporter and firm believer that Obama is a descendant of a former king of England is no doubt her mother.
If you have a child and they
All
have
right,
a child,
we don't care about the damn mother. She's based it on emotions, even though her daughter did the groundwork. She don't need any type of facts or evidence. The mom says, no, you can't have this. Impossible. A nigga in the family tree. That's what she's, no. This can't be. You got a nigga Obama.
Hey, Cap, but that shows that every the thought of every one of them is deep, man.
Very deep.
11 years old.
11
She
years
did all that
old.
research.
She done
Yo,
did all that research.
think about it. At 11 years old, she said, no, this is not just enough.
Yeah.
She went in depth to find out. How do you find that out over the internet? And she said, listen, I'm going to show this to Obama.
Yes.
He might not know this. Obama said, damn.
You're right.
I didn't got this in clear detail. I missed this cousin.
Damn.
All right, go back to the family tree.
Okay, so this is the 18th dynasty family tree. Blow it up some more.
Let's go down. You get to see it.
Okay, you got utmost of.
No, you don't have to read the name. Just show them the dynasty. You can zoom out a little bit and then go down a little bit to show you the family tree and the dynasty. No, not that much. Nobody can see it. All right, go down now. All right, go down. Come on, slowly. This is show you the dynasties of the ancient Egyptian presidents or the pharaohs ruling during that time period. So these are all of our slave masters that black people glorified. Like she said, oh, I want to wear the big earrings because that represents Queen Nefertiti.
Right. Even the what's the eyelash? They draw that
Yep.
the eyeliner.
The eyeliner, they shave their eyes and they draw the eyeliner.
That's an Egyptian custom.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of black women follow that today.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. Now, let's get some more documented images.
And the wig wearing, too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And you have the presidents of the United States did the same thing. They wore the wigs.
Oh, yeah, the England too, the England courts. And the
Yep.
court system.
They all wore the
Big
wigs.
white wigs.
All right. Now, let's get to the first image. Utmost first.
To show you this history, man, it's undeniable. You can't, you gotta, like I said, you gotta go research for yourself. Go if you able to get the books or whatever. We show you the books. Research it for yourself. If you don't believe us,
Come on. It's in the Telegram. I had it lined up perfectly. You don't need to search it. Utmost the first.
all right.
Go up. Go up.
But also, I don't know if I know Cat probably ain't gonna touch it, but I know in previous radio shows it was brought out
Right
but
there.
Also with Shifra and Pua during the time that we was saving the males or whatever. Because in Egypt they had what? They had abortions in Egypt. They used condoms and all that other stuff in Egypt. So a lot of stuff that you see today, this is spiritual Egypt. A lot of stuff comes from Egypt, man. Birth control. So they had those type of conceptions for contraceptives and all of that in ancient Egypt also. So a lot of that stuff come from Egypt, man, that we follow.
Make sure
All
you
right.
get the other image too. All right, so let's see Utmost first. Utmost the first. All right,
Look at that.
look at that. Black.
Come on, Arabs. Y'all got to come better than this, man.
Let's get the next image. Ramses the second. Black. You notice how they're taller than everybody else.
Right, yeah. Men of stature.
Man of statue, we're going to get into that. All right, let's get the next image.
Yeah.
Look how tall he is. All right, go in. Everybody black in that image. Dark skin. Black.
Right.
So some of the ancient Egyptian pharaohs. Now, go down. Go down to the right. Now, let's see who that is.
This is Pharaoh slaying blacks. Detail of Tutankhamun. Painting. That's as far as you could go over?
No, that's it. So that's Tutankhamun. So black pharaohs.
Former slave master right there.
Yep, exactly. One of our former slave masters. Now, give me the article, Pharaohs in the Bible.
And mind you, King Tut, he was young, too. He was like
Yep.
17
you
to
don't
18.
need that. You don't need that.
And look how big he was.
Exactly. Get me Negroes, the Negro. So, and you notice, so we're going to touch that too. Notice how there's all of them were towering over everybody else. So let's get the book, The Negro.
Uh-oh. Cap, you about to go there, Cap?
Yeah, we about to go there.
About to go.
We about to go in now. They don't mess up now. We
Here we
about to
go.
go in.
Bring it out.
So this is The Negro by W.E.B. Du Bois. Let's get to the first page. Ethiopia, Egypt.
Another black scholar.
Another black scholar. Oh, don't worry. We're going to touch your white scholars, too. Don't worry about that. We haven't forgot about your white man.
Right.
We understand that black scholars' information is not...
It ain't the same. It don't hit
It's
the
not the same. Their ice is not colder than the white man's ice. Their sugar is not sweet as the white man's sugar.
Dang.
So that's always the thought process. And I think somebody said that. They said, "Oh, where do you get that book from?" Well, that's a black scholar. We don't accept that
we don't accept
information.
that.
So you notice how we purposely we have a lot more evidence or books that we can go into, but we purposely touch books prior to the 1860s by white scholars because we understand the mentality and the mindset of a Negro that they'll only accept information come from the white man.
Right. You need a white man's validation.
Exactly. White man's validation.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? You have these black scholars, their sources would be white scholars, but people still won't accept it from the black man.
Cap, after you drop that, I just want to reinforce the whole narrative that's going on here.
Yep.
Because even Ishmael about to get slapped right now. You defending a cause that's not even yours.
Exactly.
But we got something for you too.
Okay,
Go ahead, Cap.
okay,
We
all
got
right,
something for him.
Bring it out. Bring out
Yes,
the guns.
sir.
All right, let's go now. So let's go down to at.
All right.
Go down. Yep, right there.
At the same time, Egyptian civilization seems to have been African in its beginnings and in its main line of development.
So everybody understood that Egyptian civilization at the beginning was inherently African. Everybody knows that because later on, as we go further into the topics, you're going to see how other civilizations came in and overthrew the Egyptians and took their thrones as the pharaohs. So that's where the confusion could come in.
Right.
Anybody that doesn't have any type of world history,
Right.
they'll perceive and say, wait a minute, there's Caucasians or Arabs live in that land. Of course you'll be confused of the ancient African civilization if you don't understand history.
Cat, we're going to bring that out too?
What?
How Esau switched up.
Oh wait, no, we're gonna go
okay.
here. We're gonna get.
I'm far back.
We didn't forget about Esau. We gonna turn right back and come right back around the block right to you.
All right.
You know that kid is a video of a kid riding a bike. The kid was talking junk, so the kid took his bike, he ran off. Then he turned around. Then he did like a Ghost Rider, knocked the kid out and get right back on the bike. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna turn it right back around, do the Ghost Rider, knock you out, and get right back on the bike and
That's
keep
right.
pushing.
Right. And what's being done too, we dealing with Esau. Arab want to put his mouth in our business. So you got to slap him up and get back on track. You know what I'm saying? Mind your business.
We're going to handle him.
Exactly. So now let's go on. Keep reading.
Despite strong influences from all parts of Asia, what race then were the Egyptians?
So the reason why he says Egyptian at the beginnings was African, despite influence of Asia. The reason why it says despite influences of Asia based upon the Hyksos. They say that the Hyksos came from the Asiatic territory or landmass. So that's what the Hyksos have many years of influence of ancient Egypt. Go on.
Of what race then were the Egyptians? They certainly were not white in any sense of the modern use of that word.
Now, I want to touch W.E. Du Bois. He wasn't the best Negro. People call he was an Uncle Tom Negro, a sellout Negro. But we're just going to take a little bit of his information, and then we're going to present the facts. So even him as a scholar understood that Egypt was definitely not white. I'll say it again. He as a scholar understood that Egypt was definitely not white or Eurocentric. Go on.
Neither in color nor physical measurement.
Neither in color or physical measurement when it comes to the ancient Egyptian tombs and of the pharaohs. Go on.
Come on. In hair nor countenance.
And hair, you look at some of the ancient Egyptian mummies, you see the black woman, they have braids, kinky, nappy hair. Go on.
In language nor social customs. They stood in relationship nearest the Negro race.
Wait, say that again. They stood what?
They stood in relationship nearest the Negro race.
They stood in relationship nearest the Negro race. Why does it say the Negro race? You know what I want. Give me Exodus 2, verse 17. So the Egyptians stood in relationship, my brother, to the Negro race. That's why you have the scholars in the Zonder Compact Bible Dictionary said Ham, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. Why? Because the Negroes, as well as the ancient Egyptians, were black.
That's right.
But the Negroes are not Negroes. The Negroes are really the Jews of the Bible, and we're gonna keep going forward. We're not gonna just stop there. We're gonna keep on digging that ditch, and we're gonna bury both of you today. We're gonna bury Ishmael, the Arabs. We're gonna bury Esau, so-called Caucasians. Right. And then we're gonna build a ditch or dig a ditch 12 feet and not 6 feet. Cause we need to put both of you in, body bag both of you today. Now let's go.
Bring it out. Exodus chapter 2, verse 17. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to Reuel, their father, he said,
Moses, go on.
How is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds.
So they said, an Egyptian delivered us from the hand of shepherd. You got the Moses image? You sent them? Where did he send it to them?
They have it.
So in Egyptian, read that again.
And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds.
So an Egyptian, so evidently, obviously, Moses was mistaken as an Egyptian.
Right.
Read. Come on.
And also drew water enough for us and watered the flock.
So now, we have a book called The Icons. It says Moses, yep.
Go back to the front of the book so they'll see the
Let's
title
see
of
the
book.
icons so everybody can see. Those of you that don't have it, I don't know how much it costs right now, but I got that book a long time ago for like $38 or something like that. Right. It's probably in the hundreds, or even if you can find it.
I paid nearly $200 for that one.
Oh, so you was a late comer.
That was 7 years ago.
Shoot, that's your fault. The Most High called you later than the truth. He called you during inflation.
Damn. But if you're able to obtain this book, man, by any means, grab it.
Bro, a lot of gems in that book. Now let's go to Moses.
Come on. That's not it. Come on, right there.
Right there. Go back. Right there. Let's enlarge that. He's already on the left. Now put it on the screen. It's on the screen. Let's go to the bottom. Let's go to the words. Move that. All right, let's go to the words. All right.
And above, virgin enthroned with child and prophet. Detail, prophet Moses.
Prophet Moses. Now let's see what Moses looked like. Black.
Look at that.
Look at that. Black.
Blackity black.
Look at that hair. Woolly hair. Dark skin. Look at his garment. Look how royal his garment is. Black skin.
And he's holding the fiery bush.
Exactly. As well as the two tablesstones. The 10 Commandments. Now, let's get Acts chapter 21, verse 37. You can take that off the screen. I want Peter next.
Acts chapter 21, verse 37. And as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, May I speak unto thee? Who said, Canst thou speak Greek? Art not thou that Egyptian, which before these days madest an uproar and leddest out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers?
So now, you have two fathers, two prophets that were mistaken as Egyptians. Moses, first and foremost. Now, you have fast forward in history, down the timeline. Paul was mistaken as the Egyptian. Can you pull up the image? Let's zoom in a little bit.
Man, blow that up.
So now you have two images. You have Peter to the left, and you have to the right Paul. So just highlight Paul. Yep, right there. That's Paul. What color is he? Black. That's why the ancient Egyptians were mistaken, or that's why the Israelites were mistaken as Egyptians from time to time because how black we were. Now, was there a distinction in how we look? Yes, there is distinction. There's certain phenotypes, there's certain skin tones that are characteristic traits physically as well as biologically that's different from that we have that are different from the ancient Egyptians. Now we're gonna go into that. Let's go back to the book with W.E.B. Du Bois.
Cap, you got Exodus 11 and 7?
Oh, we're gonna get that.
Oh,
We're
right,
gonna
I'm
get that.
jumping
Yeah,
the
we're
gun.
gonna get that. Oh, we're not gonna forget that.
All right. They stood in relationship nearest the Negro race in earliest times, and then gradually, through the infiltration of Mediterranean and Semitic elements, became what would be described in America as a light mulatto stock of octoroons and quadroons. This stock was varied continually, now by new infiltration of Negro blood from the South, now by Negroid and Semitic blood from the East, now by Berber types from the North and the West.
Go on.
Egyptian monuments show distinctly Negro and mulatto faces.
What? Read it again. The Egyptian monument shows distinctly. I'll say it again. Shows distinctly Negro and mulatto faces. Go on.
Herodotus, incontrovertible passage, alludes to the Egyptians as black and curly haired.
So Herodotus, in incontrovertible passages, includes that the Egyptians as black and curly hair. Go on.
A peculiarly significant statement from one used to the brunette Mediterranean type. In another passage, concerning the fable of the Dodonian oracle, he again alludes to the swarthy color of the Egyptians as exceedingly dark and even black.
So the swarthy, we know that swarthy means what? Black. So the swarthy color of the Egyptians are exceedingly black. Go on. Let's go on.
Euclidus, mentioning a boat seen from the shore, declares that its crew are Egyptians because of their black complexions. Modern measurements.
That's it. That's all I want. No, keep going. Keep going.
Modern measurements, with all their admitted limitations, show that in the Theban, from 1/7 to 1/3 of the Egyptian population were Negroes.
So 1/7 or 1/3 of the Egyptian population were Negroes. Wait a minute. So when were the Negroes in ancient Egypt? So I know, I'll say it again. Oh, we're just starting. We're touching the surface. So I know historical facts that the Israelites were in the ancient Egypt. When have scholars ever made it revealed it that Negroes were 1/3 of Egyptian population? But I thought that the Negroes were African.
Right.
I thought the people who call themselves Kemet today, or those that participated or practicing Egyptologies or the Kemetic community, I thought that they're Egyptians. So why is the scholars consistently making a distinction between the two ethnic groups, the Negroes as well as the Egyptians? You know why? Because they're not the same.
Right.
One is Hamitic and one is Shemitic.
Right.
Go on.
Hey,
you want to
hey,
say
go-
something?
Go ahead, Kai.
I'm sorry. Just real quick, just something I just seen. Go back up to the first paragraph in that book. Right there at the end. You good. Don't move it. Where it says Berber types from the north and west, that's the Arabs. That's the Arabs that moved in.
Damn. So I'm gonna have to push this in real quick. Won't take long.
Do what you got to do.
Won't take long. Now, let's just prove that this bastard son got to know your daddy was black. Your daddy was black. Give me Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 5. Let's prove to this bastard you got to watch what you say. I know you don't respect your daddy. Why? Because he was black. You got mouth right now. Read that.
The Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5.
Uh-huh.
For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit and remove from thoughts that are without understanding.
I'm sorry.
You Song of Solomon.
Songs of Solomon. I'm sorry. Songs of Solomon.
Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5.
Bring it out.
I am black but comely,
Uh-huh.
O ye daughters of Jerusalem,
Uh-huh.
as the tents of Gedar.
Now, give me what I sent you off of Samani, Hagar.
That's a good one, though, too. Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 5.
Yeah, because now the spirit of discipline got us in this book. Right? All right. So pull that up real quick. Just a quick little literature. Officer Jess, what we got?
Hagar. Hagar is a biblical woman. According to the book of Genesis, she was an Egyptian slave.
She was who?
An Egyptian slave.
In the land of Egypt. Go ahead.
And handmaiden of Sarah, then known as Sarai, whom Sarah gave to her own husband Abram, later renamed Abraham, as a wife to bear him a child. Abraham's firstborn son through Hagar, Ishmael, became the progenitor of the Ishmaelites, generally taken to the Arabs. Generally taking to be the Arabs,
right? So the Arabs now, your forefather is Abraham, a black man, right? Let's go further. Give me the other one I sent you. Let's go to Kedar, the meaning of Kedar. Because Kedar is ancient Arabia, right? From where the Arabs dwell. Let's look at what it says. Blow it up some more. Blow it up some more.
Kedar, meaning dark.
Damn, they were dark already. These same Arabians in that area was already dark. Click on, go ahead, etymology.
From the verb Kedar, to be or become dark.
So even Solomon was saying his skin resembles those of that land, which was the Arabs, dark people. Go down to the meaning, Kedar, meaning. Get ready for that. Get ready for that, IT. What that say?
For a meaning of the name Kedar, Knobs study Bible name list reads dark. James Dictionary of Old Testament proper. Names read dark-skinned man.
Dark-skinned who?
Dark-skinned man.
So the people in that area was already dark. Ishmael, your daddy was a black man. So you confused.
Hold up, man. We get that one.
You know what I'm saying?
We get that one. The name Kedar in the Bible.
The name Kedar in the Bible. Kedar is one of the 12 sons of Ishmael, Genesis 25:13. Kedar is most notably mentioned by the bride of the Song of Solomon, where she compares her blackness.
It's supposed to be his blackness.
Compare her blackness to the tents of Kedar.
Right.
All right. Kedar is also featurely prominently in the Abrahamic standard model of elementary particles.
So like Cap was saying earlier, as time goes by, you're going to see how these nations came into that land and assumed the identity, how they assumed the culture, which changed the dynamic, the physics, the looks of the people. But in that land mass, you had a dark race of people. Even the Arabs, even the Arab that's running his mouth right now.
So you saying why?
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Your daddy was black.
Put that in the hookah.
So you saying what are y'all arguing about? Why y'all coming at Kevin Hart when y'all was black too?
That's it. That's
exactly. So we're gonna go to a commercial break, right? So we're gonna go to a quick commercial break and we're gonna come back. All right. So we're gonna open the phone lines, right? So we're going to take a 5-minute break. 5-minute break. So if you want to call in, you can call in at 267-702-6121 once we get back. If you want to call in, you can call in at 267-702-6121. All right? We'll be back.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again, the second time, to recover the remnant of his people.
It's you who don't know. It's you Afro-Syrians who don't know your history.
And going to the other side of India, you see the Dalits as well as the Siddhis. Same thing on the Eastern Hemisphere. Mass incarceration, police brutality, lynchings, convict leasings.
You brothers and sisters in South Sudan, your heritage goes far deeper than where you live. You are the children of God.
Ein Herz, das arge Ränke. Was sind
Vamos poder suportar.
Laat je niet misleiden tot filosofie.
Shalom, Most High in Christ, bless you all. I'm Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Some time ago, many of you saw us at the Barclays Center, standing for what the Bible says, standing for truth, standing for righteousness. That's what we do. Most recently, the Jewish community, in particular the ADL SPLC, have voiced their opinion that black people do not have freedom of speech nor freedom of religion to say they're Semitic. Neither to say that they're Jews of the tribe of Judah, belonging to the 12 tribes of Israel, which is according to 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 46-53. We apologize and submit ourselves to these people will. We have no place in society. Brothers and sisters, this is nothing but disguised racism. 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. They follow the legacy of director J. Edgar Hoover, who said the worst thing to the United States of America is Negro. I think that's exactly how he said it. Black unity is a fear community. I wonder why. Black unity is a fear to white society. I wonder why. Is it white guilt? I don't know. But we can delve into the Bible and possibly we can all find out together. J. Edgar Hoover established COINTELPRO. He forbid the rise of a black messiah. He forbid any type of black community. Y'all saw what happened to Black Wall Street when we got together. They bombed us. And this is why I understand why many of you black men and black women don't stand up for one another. A lot of you are afraid. You are scared. But this group right here, we ain't afraid of nothing, all right? I want y'all to understand that. All black leaders that have risen up, J. Edgar Hoover had a hand in their demise. From Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, after them, Fred Hampton, Khalid Muhammad, Johnny Cock, even Hugo Chavez, who tried to help the black community. Always somebody was exiled or assassinated. None of y'all see nothing wrong with that? Y'all keep playing these people's game. Israel United in Christ is a Bible-based that teaches that blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians are part of the true 12 tribes of Israel. You read Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 through 68. We change lives, brothers and sisters, transforming boys into men, girls into women, into wives and mothers. That's what we do. Family is the core of any strong people. Like Marcus Garvey said, up, you mighty race, up,